said I got to say something, baby, hand me the mic. I said I got to say something, better hand me the mic. Somebody hand me a mic. Cause I got to say something, so just hand me a mic. When I need to say something, better hand me the mic. I said I got to say something, better hand me the mic.
So, everyone that's listening, welcome to People Like Us. We're here again. It's Southpaw, it's me, and it is the amazing person, the oddity, some may say. The oddity. Rob Coates, welcome back.
It's the first time you've had me here without a minder, so let's leave the amazing judgment until the end.
It is. No, you've been here before, Rob. We're a big fan of how your mind works. And I think just with the way that the world seems to be turning, I think, if it's all right with you, of course, it's somebody we'd like to speak to more often.
Okay, yeah.
Some may call you a conspiracy theorist, some may call you a realist.
I'd take conspiracy theorists as a badge of honour because the conspiracy theorists are always right.
Yeah.
We've got a good record.
You know, there's some that are still, you know, the jury's still out.
Give it time.
Are aliens real and stuff like that? But, you know, it was only, as we've said before, it was only 3 years ago. You know, some people were labelled conspiracy theorists who have turned out to be truthists.
Exactly.
You know?
Give it time. Yeah.
But before we go on any of that, because you're somebody I think we should be speaking to more often, I thought it would be the right thing to do to get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
I know you a little bit.
Yeah.
But everybody else doesn't.
Yeah.
So, start us off, Rob. That accent gives it away. Where are you from?
Well, you see, people up here think I've got a posh accent.
I wouldn't say posh. I would say different to mine.
Yeah, okay. I'm from Leicester. Well, I was born in London. I grew up in Leicester. I moved to Darlington in my mid-20s.
Right. So
the accent's mostly Leicestershire.
Let's start from the beginning, right? You're born in London.
Yeah.
Whereabouts in London?
Hang on. Park Royal Hotel, West London.
You're born in a hotel?
Park Royal Hospital.
Oh, they said hotel.
English is my first language, would you believe?
Yeah. Park Royal Hospital. So how much time, how long did you spend in?
3 years. So I literally have one memory from London, which is getting stuck in the living room, not being able to reach the door handle.
Right.
That's literally all I can tell you about my life in
pretty
London.
much
I
it.
have no memories.
So what were your family working in London? Is that where this was?
Yeah, so my mum was born and raised in London.
Right.
My dad's a Bristol boy who joined the prison service at 21, worked at Wormwood Scrubs,
Right.
and then got promotion up to Gartree, which is in Market Harborough, and that's why we moved to Leicester.
Right. So I bet your dad has some stories about Wormwood Scrubs.
He's met the big ones.
I bet he has.
He's met Bronson, he's met the Craze.
Really?
I'll tell you a story he loves to tell. He's a big fan of 70s music anyway, but he's that era.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of the prisoner, but a big gangster said to him, "Get yourself to the box office at Wembley tonight. There's some tickets going on sale." My dad got ABBA tickets about 2 days before they went on sale.
ABBA tickets?
Because the gangster inside the prison, remember this is the days before mobile phones were being snuck in.
Yeah.
He somehow knew those tickets were going on sale before they were announced.
Huh.
So even inside, in those days, they still were getting the inside track on everything.
Yeah. And he was in prison, this guy.
Yeah, this is the 70s. There's
Brilliant.
no mobile phones being snuck in.
I love those stories of the mobsters and gangsters that are still running stuff from inside.
Yeah.
I love that. That's power in it. That's control.
I've seen a few TikTok channels from prisoners with phones on the inside.
Oh,
Quite
yeah.
interesting watches.
Plenty of people have phones on the insides. I have to stick up with their ass on and stuff like that, you know. It's a rough ride.
It's a trade-off. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want a big phone, do you? Please give me the smallest phone possible.
God, they're all big now, though.
I know,
Phones
yeah.
are massive now.
I know. I don't imagine the prison... I mean, I hope, for their sake, they don't have, this sort of thing. I hope the little tiny pay-as-you-go numbers, because that's going to sting, isn't it? You know, it doesn't matter how advanced you are in
the early days of the internet with things like rotten.com, I've seen some... it's doable. Just go with that.
I mean, yeah, I've seen some, I've had my fair share of X-rated websites. And, I've seen worse,
I've seen much worse online.
Yeah. Just don't search the word dragon on those sites and,
Oh, yeah.
Whew. Anyway, bringing it back. So,
off topic already.
Yeah, off topic already. So there we go, right? So Rob Coates, there he is. He's born in London. Dad's a screw. What did your mum do?
Housewife with general part-time job, bit of cleaning here and there.
I get you,
but
bits and
housewife,
bats.
yeah.
Bits and bats. Yeah. So then you up sticks,
Yep.
you do one,
Yep.
you got Leicester.
Yeah.
So you're 3-year-old,
Yep.
you're in Leicester. I'm assuming memories start at this point.
Yeah, that was my childhood. From the age of 3 to 24, 25,
Right.
I lived in Leicestershire. So that's my upbringing.
Wasn't the city though, was it?
No, about 8 miles from the city, South Leicestershire,
What's it called, this village?
Cosby.
Cosby.
If you drive down the M1, you can see it from the M1. It goes right through the middle of the village.
Right. So it's a village.
Yeah, proper village.
Village life.
Yeah.
Church, little shops, stuff
Nearest
like that.
town was about 3 miles away. We had the corner shops,
Yeah.
a video shop on and off for grocers, but
Little high street.
little co-op, 4 pubs, because of
4
course
pubs.
it's a country village in the 90s. There was 4 pubs.
Yeah. I picture it. So I've always thought those lives are both good and bad, like an upbringing in a village, because on one hand, I guess a lot of I don't want to use the term riffraff, but it is that. A lot of the riffraff aren't there. You probably avoid a lot of the crime, really. A lot of the bullying, really.
I mean, every village has. I don't want to sound so horrible saying that. Every village has a council estate where there's a couple of rough families.
Of course.
Everyone knows that family's the wheeler dealers. That family's got the dodgy hookup in the garage. You know. The age I'm at now, I would love to live in a village again. Growing up and being a teenager, you're desperate to be in the city. The hustle and the bustle and the clubs and the...
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good upbringing. I was in the Scouts the whole time I was there.
In the Scouts. I'm going to ask you about that in a bit, actually. Because, but let's go through this a little bit first. So there you go, right? You've moved to this village, Cosby. 3-year-old. I assume you went to the local primary school, stuff like this.
2 primary schools. It was a weird village.
Yeah. It was a rivalry.
No, it was... So most people go to primary school from year 1 to reception to year 6. But our 2 schools were a bit small. So there was the old, what they called the annex, which I think was like a 19th century, the original school in the village. You went there from years 1 to 2. Then you go to the main school at the other end of the village from years 3 to 6.
Right. 3 to 6.
And then the way the Leicester education system works, I never moved schools out of pattern, but you go to 4 schools. Well, I went to 4 schools, and that was the normal process.
By the age of what?
But by the age of GCSEs, I'd been to 4 schools, and that's the normal process for a kid in that village.
Just where you were. So, do you have any memories of, like, obviously growing up in a village, you must have some, like, fond memory. I have, like, a romanticized version. I guess it looks like a Warburton's advert in my life, you know? The village life, the playing cricket, the long summer days. I assume you had a lot of countryside. So there was a lot of...
when the weather was not snowing, the village green would always have a bunch of kids playing football on it. There was one summer holidays, we were about 13, 14 years old.
Right.
Literally every day of that holiday, me and my mate just got on our bikes and just went. And we probably 9, 10, 11, 12 miles. We'd aim for the next motorway bridge down the motorway, cross it and then come back again. And by the end of that summer holiday, we were literally out all day on the bikes, just around the country lanes.
Those were the days, weren't they?
Great fun.
How old are you now, Rob?
40 now.
40
So
now.
we didn't have a mobile phone with us.
No. No, but I guess those were the days, unlike now, with kids on the tablets and stuff. You went out on the morning and you came back when it got dark.
And we didn't even know what the route was.
No.
Like nowadays, if I'm going hiking, I'll tell someone what my planned route is in case something goes wrong. We were like 13 years old with no phones, no plans. Just, bye, Mum, see you later.
Was there troublemaking? When I was a kid, there was troublemaking. There was window smashing. There was lighting fires. I think all kids go through the arson phase, don't they? Where they
I
set
would say
things on fire.
troublemaking. It'd be a bottle of vodka down the park.
Yeah. Did you set things on fire, Southpaw?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Love a good fire.
You know that? You went through your arson stage then?
Went through my arse on stage.
Everyone loves fire.
I've told you before, we have a bus stop with books in.
Oh, the books,
Yeah.
We
And
did have-
I
we
was
never had
I was never that kid, but I knew the kids that would make fires with them, and yeah, they were the days. Massive roaring fire, loved it.
The estate we were on, all the houses had pretty big gardens, and most nights, especially in the summer holidays, there'd be a bonfire in someone's garden just for the sake of it.
I remember this one story. I say a story, it really happened. In my arson stage, I knocked about with a guy, I won't say his name, and it was a normal day. We'd lit a fire. A lot of our time, a lot of this period of life, the arson stage was spent in like a building site. So there's a place in Darlington called Faverdale.
Yep.
When I was of my arson age, probably 12, 13, 14, Faverdale was still being developed, right? So a lot of Faverdale wasn't made. Sort of where you live now, that wasn't made.
I know it well now because there's a lot of industrial units around there, so I go there a lot with my day job, yeah.
But what you find, I think I've said this before, what you find on building sites is a lot of wood pallets, and you get a lot of drums with cherry diesel in it,
Yeah.
for the industrial things.
I'm a boy, I know where you're going with this already, yeah.
And this particular day, I can remember it well. It was a summer's day. God, there was no security. There was no anything. And we'd spent the better part of an afternoon dragging these pallets, and we dragged these pallets. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you there was 50, 60 pallets. It was a mountain of pallets, a great big massive thing. Anyway, we lit it. As you can imagine, it went up gloriously in the end. There was, looking back, I don't understand. No police were ever rang. Nobody ever came to stop us. We just have these massive bonfires. I suppose we weren't hurting anybody.
We just got on with stuff, didn't we?
But this one day, the guy I was with, he had the idea of, and it wasn't full, but there was still liquid in it. He dragged one of these blue barrels, metal barrels.
Forming on my face already. I know where this is going.
There was flammable signs on it, dragged it on. And of course, it was a great idea to throw it on the fire. Now, when you throw a big barrel on a fire, you wait a little while. After about an hour of this fire going, nothing was happening. The barrel had got like black and singed, but there'd been no kaboom, So it was going to happen. You could hear a noise. It was like, you could hear something bubbling, but it hadn't gone kaboom. And I mean, we'd thrown aerosols on there and all sorts. And I remember the guy I was with I don't know where he got it from. It was like, it looked like a javelin. It looked very similar to a javelin. It was a stick with a pointy thing on the end. He dragged it from somewhere. And I think you can guess where this story goes.
I think I can.
He had ran at it and he kept his distance a bit, but he was only a few feet away. And he threw this javelin. It was, a beautiful thing to see. It pierced the barrel, and then the kaboom came. Bang! It went up. I remember eyebrows singed. Glorious times. Glorious times. Did you have an arson stage?
You've reminded me of a good story there, actually, from Scouts.
Go on.
So we were fairly young Scouts, and some of the old ones had told us that you can cook the tinned vegetables. You haven't got to dirty a saucepan. Just put the tin on the fire and they cook in the tin in the water. Brilliant.
Right.
So we did. We got a tin of potatoes and we put them in the fire. We didn't know you meant to put a hole in the tin. We were maybe 12, 13 years old. And we didn't know how long you had to leave it for to cook the potatoes either. The end result of that explosion was there was a new potato actually embedded in the tree next to the fire circle.
Right.
How none of us got injured from a flying potato, I don't know.
It went bang?
Oh, yeah.
Never.
I mean, this tin pressurised. Now I'm an adult, I know. Right. This thing's getting pressure and pressure and pressure. And so when it went, it put a potato inside a tree.
Never.
And somehow none of us got injured by that.
Huh. I didn't, I wouldn't think to put a hole in it, to be fair.
I would now. Now I'm old enough to know about science and stuff. But
well, you're a seasoned scout now.
When you're like 12, 13 years old, you don't think to put a hole in the tin, do you?
No, I guess not. So this village life, there was, other than ciders and vodkas in a park, there was no, monkey business.
There was a working man's club,
right,
and then 3 country pubs. Nowhere for young people.
No.
So we'd have to get the bus into town. It was about an hour by bus to get into the town, the city.
Into Leicester.
Yeah. And in those days, about a tenner for the taxi home.
Yeah, I bet.
Which when you're A-level students, a lot of money.
How old's an A-level student?
16 you start A-levels.
Do you? When you're at school, we asked a few people this question. There was groups.
Yeah.
The populars, the sporties, the freaks, as they got called.
Yeah.
In my school, we had the Bangladeshis. Other schools, probably had their own groups. Did you fit in a group?
We self-titled ourselves the freaks. We were the boggers and the moshers and the Goths, that was our group, yeah.
Was there like boggers at school when you were at school? Because in my school, there wasn't actual skateboardy people in my school. There wasn't, as what we, just for anyone listening, a bogger is a term used for somebody who's into skateboarding and BMXing.
That's not a term that we were using in Leicester. I heard that term when I moved up here.
Right.
We would, what would we call ourselves? I'm not sure what we used to call ourselves, to be honest with you. I think it was just generally the weirdos, the freaks, the goths, the punks, all kind of gathered together. But no, we were... So the fourth school, which was from years 10 to sixth form, there was no uniform policy, and you called your teacher by your first name.
What?
On the hippy-dippy, let's have no rules and see how everyone does.
What, in your school, there was no uniform?
We were going to school wearing Slipknot T-shirts and Mohicans. And,
what?
Yeah.
How old is this?
Years 10 to sixth form, so that's what, 14 up, something like that?
Right. No uniform.
First name terms of the teachers.
Wow. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, no one ever has. It's as far as I know, it's the only school that ever did it.
You heard of that, Southpaw?
No, I've never heard of that before, to be honest.
No. I mean, in my school...
So my tutor was Yvonne. It
just
wasn't
Yvonne?
Miss or Mrs, it was Yvonne. It was my tutor in that school, yeah.
How did it go down then? To be fair, look, like, actually coming outside of it for a minute, like, excuse me, do you know what? I agree with what you're, with that way of doing it, but there's an aspect of uniforms that does make sense because our school had a uniform policy, and I am going somewhere with this, but they weren't strict on the type of shirt. You didn't really have to wear shoes. They sort of wanted you to, but they didn't say anything if you didn't. But
yours was the rough school in town as well, wasn't it?
One of. But there was an aspect of, like, who can afford what.
Yeah.
That was a big thing. And if you didn't have the latest Nike Air Maxes, it really did, damage your social.
That's not such an issue for a grebo because...
What's a grebo?
I think that word's just come to me. I think that must have been what we called boggers.
Right.
That word's just come to me there. Because the fashion there is faded band T-shirts, torn jeans, dirty old trainers.
Right.
So I don't think a fun latest clothes wasn't so much of an issue for our sense of fashion.
Right. That's new. There was nothing like that in our school. Nothing. There was.
I've just thought I would never wear this in public nowadays. I had a black T-shirt,
right,
and in white letters it said "fuck," CEN **SHIP. The fuck censorship, but censorship was censored.
Never.
I used to wear that to school when I was 14.
That seems really like advanced. That seems like really far down the scale.
I had that D12 T-shirt, Britney sucks, Christina swallows. I'd wear that to school.
D12 T-shirt.
Looking back now, you can't wear that shit to school.
No. It sounds like a pretty cool school, though.
It is, but I was that... I think this is my personality. I was that little punk kid saying, why? Who's going to make me?
Right.
Where's that written down? Come on. The uniform and calling my teacher sir probably would have done me more good than having that relaxed atmosphere.
That's what I was going to say about the uniforms. I think it's a good idea, really, because if everybody has to wear the same thing, it stops the who's got what stuff.
Yeah, it's just the discipline as well. You get a job in a factory or a warehouse, you've got to wear a hard hat and a high-vis vest and safety boots. It's not an option. You have to wear them or you're going home with no pay.
Do you think the world of, as time progresses, do you think the three-piece suit, shirt and trousers to work, do you think that's going to die?
I think it will, but I don't think it should.
If you went back to the 80s, anybody in an office was wearing a shirt and trousers.
And I think that's how it should be.
But nowadays, vast majorities of them don't, and you can wear what you want.
I think if you go, not that you meet your bank manager anymore, but if you go to your bank manager for a mortgage, and he's wearing
a hoodie,
he's wearing if he's wearing a three-piece suit and a smart tie and his old school tie pin, you say, "Good morning, sir. Here is my salary. Here is my bank statements. I would like a mortgage on this value of house, please." So I say, if you're going to wearing a hoodie and shorts, you all right, mate? I'm after a mortgage.
It's true. Like in your life, if you're ever going somewhere where you're trying to impress, you do put a shirt and trousers on. It's weird, that, isn't it? I wonder why.
And it instills that sense of authority, which some people need for their jobs.
Yeah.
That's what I love about Dash. Obviously, where we work, shout out to Dash Media, our sponsor.
Yeah.
But where we work, it's you have to wear a shirt and you have to dress up smart. And for me, when I have a call with a client and I know I'm dressed smart, that helps me like for a little bit. I think within a call,
I think say if you go to Primark, for example, they're wearing blue t-shirts. If you go to Burton's or Moss Brothers, they're wearing a shirt and a tie. And I just feel like that person with the shirt and the tie can probably tell me more about the right fit and the right clothes than the guy in the blue t-shirt can. And that's purely based on how they look and what they're wearing.
Yeah, I agree with that, actually. Yeah, when you see somebody in that sort of attire, the shirt and trousers thing, you automatically... I don't know, it does something to you.
Yeah.
It does something to you. But I do think we're going to get to a point where that changes, I think. I mean, just in a short space of time, over 20, 30 years, a percentage of it certainly has shifted. We are at a point now where we work, there are some offices and things, and yes, you still see some of the companies wearing shirts and trousers, but you see some people who aren't, like the building opposite us.
I think the pendulum will swing back.
Do you think?
I think there's that saying, conservatism's the new punk rock.
Right.
And I think even younger people now are choosing to wear a suit because they like how it looks. I think the pendulum will swing back before it completely dies out.
Well, I hope it does, because I think it's traditional,
I think maybe as well, I think if 99.9% of people go casual, the one person in the three-piece suit will stand head and shoulders with the rest.
Yeah. No, that is true. I mean, we do get some moments, don't we, Southpaw, in the office where, there is some people who opt out of the shirt and trousers wearing, and you get some people that religiously wear it, and they, say what you like, the person in the suit looks better.
Yeah.
every single time.
Every single time.
Yeah.
He just has, it's got an aura about him.
And feel better.
And feel better. Yeah. I mean, that's true. If I've got shirt on and stuff, you do feel more professional.
I mean, just, me growing up as a bogger, I had waist length hair with a bit down to there, and I was wearing a faded band t-shirt. I was still the same person underneath. But the way people treat you to how I've now got obviously a different haircut, clean shaven, the difference in the way people treat you is incredible. If you've looked both ways, you can appreciate the difference that how you look makes to how people treat you.
Like, same if you see somebody with, like, I don't know, for example, like piercings and tattoos all over the face, for example, you do automatically judge them.
Yeah.
You automatically think he's a dangerous man.
You shouldn't, but you do.
Yeah, you shouldn't, but you do. We do judge books by covers.
Yeah.
Whether we like it or not, we do.
Of course we do.
And like you say, if you're going into a bank, you want the bank manager wearing a suit, a well-fitted one as well. It's true, isn't it?
Or anyone you're trying to get advice from, you want them to look like they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, it's right. Yeah. You wouldn't want, you wouldn't want to go in a hospital and see, I mean, I know
if you went to your GP and you had a skateboard leaning against the wall and you had a big septum ring.
Do you think there'll be a day if we, like, one day, like, that you'll go into, like, for example, a GP's, a doctor's surgery, and you see a doctor and he's sat in a North Face tracksuit? That would be... I don't know. You'd feel uneasy, wouldn't you?
I can see it. I can see if people start trying to claim discrimination for something. If they're trying to say you're discriminating against my culture or something like that. But then even then it's how customers or patients or clients perceive you, whether they want to see you, whether they want to spend their money with you, or if you've got a salesman, it doesn't matter what he looks like. If no one's buying off him, he's not a good salesman.
No.
And it doesn't matter why people aren't buying off him.
He's not a good
What
salesman.
matters is his number. Yeah. So I think with that certain aspect, there's always going to be an older or more conservative generation who will look down on them.
Well, look, I'm convinced we're going to live in a world where there's no suits. That's what I think. I think the world's going to change. You mentioned this goth stuff.
Yeah.
If you mooched around where I was from when I was younger, unfortunately, wearing that sort of attire, it wouldn't have went down well for you. No. Did you get any of that? Because I assume was there. Yeah. Let's call them chavs
In Leicester and Darlington.
Right.
Yeah. In Leicester, there was basically one bar that we'd meet at before the club opened,
right,
and one club that we went to,
right,
and that was it. You wouldn't be allowed entry anywhere else.
Right.
And you wouldn't want entry anywhere else because they'd beat you up.
Right. Would they not let you in what you were wearing, or you just didn't go because it wouldn't work out well?
Both.
Right, bit of both.
Yeah, if you walked in wearing your leather trench coat, you get beat up for being a bogger if the bouncers let you in the first place.
Yeah. I mean, that is something that's changed as well, isn't it? Like, when I was coming of age, when I was 17, 18, you were not getting in a nightclub unless you had shoes on.
Yeah.
That was the rule.
Totally, yeah.
And, I mean, I wasn't around in the 80s and 90s, but funnily enough, I was actually speaking to my stepdad the other day about this, and he was saying there was a time that you couldn't get in the nightclub, and my mum was backing it up. You couldn't get in the nightclub unless you had a full suit on.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, what looks awesome to me, I was a kid in the 80s, when you watch Only Fools and Horses, and they go to a nightclub, and they're sat at a table with a glass,
Yeah.
and there's a singer on the stage. That looks awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to have gone to a club like that. That looks
Proper club.
sophisticated as well. It
And
looks
everybody
nice.
wearing a suit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If a club like that opened now, I'd go. I think that looks. I missed that. I say I missed that. I wasn't there, but
No.
I wish I'd been able to go to that.
I mean, I hear these stories about, as much as I think your health was probably affected, but these days of, again, it was in the same conversation, these days of where there was no social media, there was no phones, and 6-7 nights a week people went out to pubs and clubs.
Yeah.
And that was just it. That's how you met people. There was no other way. And it was perfectly normal.
Yeah.
It, like, if we hear somebody now say, they've been in the nightclub 6 days, they've been on the piss, basically, 6 days a week, you would think, bloody hell, they've got a problem.
Do you think people got more health conscious as well, though?
Oh, absolutely.
Because, I mean, again, it was normal. My dad would go to the working men's club a couple of times a week. Just as my childhood memory, I could be totally wrong. And he tells me in his rugby playing days, he was knocking back 10, 15 pints on a session sometimes. I don't know many people now who would want to do that because people seem to be a lot more aware of their health nowadays.
Yeah, I think that's probably a good thing, to be fair.
Oh, good thing, definitely, yeah.
It wasn't too long ago that, they weren't telling us that cigarettes were bad for us.
Yeah.
So it's probably a good thing. But yes, you can see the shift, Now smoking is terrible for you. Now this is that for you. I mean, that'll continue progressing, I seen something on the news the other day as I'm sitting here swigging Red Bulls. we know they're probably not great for you.
No.
But there was a thing on, I don't know, BBC News or whatever, talking about energy drinks, and there's new research found out that it's more bad than just caffeine. There's more to it than the sugar. Yeah, something to do with like mood and this and that and the other, and it's bad for a lot of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, something came out yesterday. I'm butchering it, so I can't remember, but I remember hearing stuff in this report that was, I didn't know that. I didn't know they did that.
I'm not a fan of them,
No.
but the first hint of a yawn when I'm driving my lorry, I'm opening the can of Monster.
Simple.
You're weighing up, don't you? Do I want to have a slightly higher heart rate, or do I want to fall asleep behind the wheel of a lorry? You weigh up the positives and the negatives.
That wasn't Monster, it was Relentless. God, I remember the first time I had a can of Relentless, I thought I was going to die.
Really?
Yeah, man.
I don't remember that's what happened to them. Don't see them around. I don't think
that was bad. I remember literally smashing it. It was the first one I ever had. I remember smashing it, getting 3/4 of the way through and feeling like stabbing pains in my heart.
It used to not be stupid in my stupid drinking days.
What's that?
Vodka Red Bull.
Oh, wow.
I'd go absolutely fucking apeshit.
Yeah, that's probably not a good idea, is it? Like, what's going on in that drink? If you drink enough of them, you're getting a massive hit of caffeine.
After I had my first one, I was like, right, this could be a messy night. Something's going to happen tonight.
I think drunk off vodka Red Bull is a different type of drunk. I think you can get different drunks off different
alcohol
drinks.
kind of tires you out a bit.
Yeah.
But the Red Bull counteracts that.
Yeah. As you say, it sends you insane. Vodka Red Bull. It literally sends you insane.
I never went out planning to drink it, but if I had one, you knew something big was going to happen that night.
I mean, it won't be a surprise to you, but for people who consume caffeine regularly, stopping consumption abruptly can lead to symptoms of withdrawal, such as headaches, fatigue, and depressed mood. So, yeah, what you're saying there, Daniel's pretty bang on.
I mean, we have a society that is not just, well, I suppose, raised for the most part, but functions on caffeine.
Yeah.
Our whole society, the whole Western world is fueled by caffeine. There's very few people, if any, that don't consume caffeine in some way, shape or form.
As stimulants go, it's probably one of the more natural and better ones than other stimulants you could pick.
I'm a big advocate of it. I'm a big advocate of caffeine. I think
I drink a lot of tea and coffee.
Oh, yeah. Of course, like anything, you shouldn't have too much, but caffeine on the whole, it makes you more productive, makes you more focused. It's good.
Yeah.
Really, it's good. It's just like anything, you got to watch what you're doing, haven't you? You got to.
I mean, I have just a plain Americano. It's literally beans and hot water. How bad can that be, really?
I mean, not at all, really. That's about the healthiest
It's about as
way.
natural as you can get for a drink.
I mean, coffee is good for you, right, Southpaw?
Yeah, as far
Actual
as
coffee.
I think the
it's-
benefits outweigh the caffeine
Yeah.
withdrawal. Yeah.
I don't know what I read, but I'm sure coffee actually is good, like a vitamin. I think. Not
So
like
I
a
learned
vitamin,
recently with coffee is the darker the bean, the more bitter the coffee, the less caffeine is in it.
Is that right?
When you roast it, it loses the caffeine. And to
So-
get a darker bean, you roast it for longer.
as a general, like anything, if you're taking too much coffee, it's not going to be too good for you. But a coffee habit is probably fine and may even be seen to give some benefits from time to time.
I mean, I've heard people dying from drinking too much water, so anything,
Yeah.
and too much of anything. Do you remember that story? There was a radio station in America did a Wii for a Wii contest when the Nintendo Wii was the must-have gadget.
They did what? Sorry.
When the Nintendo Wii was the must-have gadget, when it first came out,
Yeah.
everyone wanted one. There's a radio station in America did a contest like hold your Wii for a Wii, where some contestants drank a load of water,
Right.
and the last one to piss won the Wii. The winner died of water intoxication.
No way. This was done on a radio station.
Yeah, so too much water can kill you.
Oh yeah. I
It's
mean,
wild.
I don't think it was the water kill. It's not pissing that's probably killed him. It's probably his bladder's probably exploded.
I can't remember the details. It was obviously a while ago now, but
Yeah.
I remember reading about the winner dying of the water intoxication. Yeah,
I mean, to be fair, these Red Bulls sometimes the catch you unawares. I'm nearly there with them. I find if I drink a lot of water, it's a normal process. Like you need a wee.
Yeah.
It just comes on. You need to pee. Then you got to pee. Caffeine drinks are different. It's sort of like you don't need to pee. Then there's no bit in the middle. It goes
No.
straight from nothing to
Yeah.
you must pee right
0
now.
to 100.
Yeah, it's serious.
I get that as well.
And all of a sudden you're in a world of pain.
That's a real thing. So in Sacramento in 2007, Jennifer Strange, 29-year-old mother of 3, died. And later on, the radio station was found liable for her death. How crazy is that?
I mean, I'm laughing, but like, it's not funny, is it?
But you can imagine the media. We do a contest where they got to not wee for a while. Who's in that boardroom thinking, "Oh, someone might die from that"?
How's it been monitored? Like, is the people with them? Like, couldn't you just say, "No, I haven't had a wee"?
I don't know the details. I remember Howard Stern back in the day, and the way he would have done it if he'd done this competition was he would have had them sat on a potty in the studio or something, wouldn't he?
Yeah,
you remember the
probably,
old
yeah.
Howard Stern show?
I remember Howard Stern.
He was wild.
Yeah.
I miss these things from back in the day.
Oh, there's so many of these things. We were talking about it the other day, like radio DJs and stuff. I loved Chris Moyles. Remember Chris Moyles?
He's still on Radio X, but
Really?
he's not as edgy. It doesn't feel. Something feels different, but I couldn't put my finger on what.
No.
Something just feels different nowadays.
You know when you left comprehensive school,
Yeah.
right? You were all boggered up in that then, as you
Yeah.
say. You were wearing the goth clothing. Were you doing the black nail varnish and stuff?
Oh,
as
yeah.
well? Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Full
have long
on.
nails as well.
Really? Long hair?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makeup, guy liner.
Guy liner. I put that on once.
You remember the guy liner's face?
Yeah. I don't remember you wearing it, but I did try it on once, and
Yeah.
I liked it.
Chicks digged it.
Chick did. Nightmare to put on though.
Yeah.
Nightmare. So you left school, right? Then what'd you do?
Oh, I've had a million different jobs.
Let's hear some of them.
Paper round when I was a kid, £9 a week. Which
more than
meant
I got.
every 5 or 6 weeks I could afford to get a bus to the city and buy a new Nintendo 64 game. Oh, yeah. I was rolling in it.
N64. Do you remember GoldenEye for the N64?
Yeah, that was good.
Was that the greatest game?
At the time.
Yeah. And Mario Kart, the initial, not the first one, because the first one was Super Nintendo, right?
That's right, yeah.
But yeah, that's an addictive game,
I remember when we got the N64, it was the weekend of Dinah's funeral.
right?
Me and my brother were bored shitless, like climbing the walls. And my dad finally said, right, that's it, we're getting the N64. So we went to the shop and bought the N64.
Yes.
And Mario Kart was the game we got with it. We only had one controller, we had to take it in turns to play.
No way.
But we put it in, and there's that 3D Nintendo logo spins around. And we both just sat there with our jaws and thought,
Never.
Look how 3D that logo is.
I bet.
Wow.
It's amazing how far it's come, though.
Yeah, we had one controller with a ticket in turns to play a race.
This will be before your time, is it, Southpaw?
No, so I don't think it was the Nintendo 64, but I remember playing something where you had to insert it like that. I think it was the days of the Homer Simpson game. I don't know. I might be wrong. I don't know.
One.
I don't recall that one. But those N64 days, God, I mean...
I've currently got two N64s, right?
Oh, yeah.
I paid 99 pence on eBay for them.
No way.
Do you know how much they sell for in CEX now?
How much?
100 quid.
Really? Huh. There it is, GoldenEye. What a game. What a game that was.
I've just reintroduced them. If you get on the Switch nowadays, all these old games have been re-released for the Switch.
Have they?
I've just reintroduced the kids to all the old retro Nintendo games.
Oh, they're the greatest games. I mean, I'm going to say I'm not a big computery fan, but I like Nintendo more.
I'm a big gamer, and consoles going online ruined video games.
Consoles going
shite
online.
now.
What do
Yeah.
you mean consoles going online? Like gaming going
Yeah,
online?
before the free Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, consoles just didn't connect to the internet,
Right.
and games were just better.
You think?
You get the game, and it was finished. There was no patches, no DLC, no add-ons, because you couldn't connect to the internet.
No.
If you want to play multiplayer, your friends had to come around with their own controllers and sit on the same sofa as you. And on going online just ruined video games. They're all crap now.
Yeah. But they've certainly got people hooked on them.
But you can get a single player game, like say Assassin's Creed, and there's like daily login bonuses. And it's a single player game.
What do you think? Do you think the video game thing, do you think is good for kids?
The right games, but there aren't many of the right games.
Do you know, there's this big thing, kids shouldn't be sat in front of computers and stuff like this. Well, there is a counter-argument to that. And for me, the counter-argument is like, all right, we weren't so much sat in front of computer games and stuff as kids, but we were out breaking the law.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And,
I would say, though, yes, they're safe playing video games all day,
yeah,
but they're a bunch of fannies as well.
they are a bunch of fannies, yeah. That's the thing, yeah. But then, is that a bad thing? Is that a good thing? I definitely can make a strong counter argument about it that they're protected. No nasty men are going to get hold of them. They're not, breaking laws. They're not, whatever, making babies at 12. Whatever. Like they're at home, safe and sound.
So the things we were doing in the city centre at 16 years old would make 16-year-olds now hair turn grey.
Oh God, yeah.
It's
Yeah. I remember this one time, funny, just a little flash there. I remember this one time when we were about maybe 15, 16. Yeah, maybe 16. We took it upon ourselves. We had the Dolphin Centre, the leisure centre. And you'd be surprised how this worked. Gravity's clever, innit? We'd found a top floor window.
Yeah.
And it's what, maybe 4 or 5 floors up?
Something like that.
Something like that. Pretty high. Not ridiculous, but pretty high. We'd found a top floor window, and next to it was a toilet. And every child's best friend of the 90s or 2000s, water bombs.
Yeah.
So we decided that we were going to fill the water bombs up in the disabled toilet that was next to us, and we were going to throw them at cars that went past. We thought nothing more, be harmless.
I think that's harmless, yeah.
But the gravity on them, we threw one down. I don't know if it was a particularly crap car, but it dented the roof of a car. It went down that fast and it put a dent in the car. That ended up being a...
I thought it would just break when it hit the car and just burst into a little water.
That's what we thought. Yeah, we dented the car. Long story short, in the end, this turned into a chase through the marketplace. One of my friends was on crutches. Obviously, he got caught.
Of course.
Yeah.
Leave the weakest man behind.
I can still remember that day. I was... Oh, God, it was the first time, the police ever came at the house. I can remember where I was. I remember in the kitchen with, I lived with my mum and sister, and I remember seeing a police van pull up. It was the next day.
Yeah.
Right? So what had happened is my friend had got caught. 2 of us had got away. Obviously, he'd been a little snitch. He'd snitched on us and told our names and addresses. Cheers, Andrew. And then, I stood in the kitchen and I remember seeing this police van pull up and not putting 2 and 2 together, then seeing this policeman walk down my garden path And then all realizing what was going on, you know, oh my God, there was hell on. My man went crazy. I think we had to pay the damage. I feel like we had to pay for something. Yeah, I think we had to pay. I forget. We had to pay for the damage to the car. But isn't that weird how, well, it's not weird. It's just science, isn't it? It's just science. But a water bomb put a dent in a car. There you go.
In my mind, I can't see any result other than the balloon bursting and the water pouring over the car.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely shocked that you did that.
Yeah. I mean, it was probably a crap car. I don't know.
Had to have been.
So you left school, right? What was your first full-time job?
First full-time job would have been, I think, trolley collecting in Asda. That was my first tax-paying job, definitely.
Right.
16-year-old collecting trolleys in Asda.
How long did that last?
Maybe 6 months or so. Mm-hmm. I would have been a boiling hot summer that year. Like the manager was bringing ice lollies out to us. Fair play to her.
Fair play.
But it was a shit job. You know, it's one thing in the summer when the weather's nice. Then the rain starts to come, the cold weather starts to come, and there's a lot better things you'd be doing than walk around a car park collecting trolleys when it's freezing cold and pitch black.
Oh, yeah. So you did this. So tell me some more jobs, right? You've done this, you've left school, you've got this.
I've done teddy sales, I've been a white van man.
Right.
I've been a courier. I've worked in the prison. I've worked in the bookies. I've worked in the supermarket.
You worked in a prison?
Yeah.
What did you do in the prison? Screw?
It's what they call it, a contractor's escort. There was a company in at the time putting new water mains and new alarms.
Say that again?
There was a company in doing new water mains and new alarms around the prison.
Right.
So my job is the most boring job I've ever had.
Okay.
I'd meet them in the morning, search them, write down everything in their toolboxes, escort them to where they were working, and watch them work until it was time for them to go home.
So it's kind of like...
That was it.
Like security, I guess.
But because you're in a prison, right, you can't read a book. You can't play on your phone. You can't even take your phone in with you.
No.
If anyone catches you sitting down, you're in trouble. I just have to stand there and watch a man work for 10 hours a day and then search him and check his toolbox on the way out.
Right. So the purpose in you was that he wasn't bringing something in to give to prisoners or, you know, escaping anybody or
it was
whatever.
an essential job. Someone's got to do it.
Of course. I mean, anyone could be coming in.
It was a crap job.
Did you ever find anything on anybody? Nothing.
Not a thing ever.
Not a
Never
thing
had
ever.
any problem. No.
No. Never find a bag of weed in there or something.
No.
No. Stuff gets into prisons though,
Oh yeah, big time.
doesn't it? And it comes in from the screws.
In the my brother lived in Chatham for a while. Me and my dad watching a police documentary one night
Right.
when we learned the term Chatham pocket.
I never heard it.
It's when you know the police are going to come and arrest you that day.
Uh-huh.
You'll fill up your Chatham pocket with some essentials like a fag lighter, and a bit of baccy in a plastic bag, and put it in your Chatham pocket.
Ah, right. Yes.
So you got something to smoke in the cells.
Well, I've done that before, actually, funnily enough. Once got a letter through my door, and it was from our good friends at Darlington Constabulary.
Yeah.
And they said they wanted to speak to me about something. Now, I'd done this dance before, and I, as you did, or as you've just said, I didn't put it in my ass, but I put it in my pants. I put it in my gooch.
Okay, yeah.
I had a pair of pants on, not boxers.
Yeah.
They were pants. And I'd wedged one lighter,
And you're hoping the officer ain't going to want to put his hands there.
one lighter, one cigarette, and my mobile phone. They were smaller phones. And
That
they weren't
cigarette
like this.
got crushed, didn't it?
It was all like squashed in my gooch sort of thing. And I went down and they kindly asked me to go into the back with them. And they tapped me down and asked me to stay in one of their 5-star rooms out the back while some things went on. But obviously, and I got in the wonderful room. They were, you know, they were very what's the word? Accommodating. They were very kind. Yeah, they were very kind. They were very nice, very polite. Asked me if I wanted anything, you know, and they put me in the room, and I had cigarettes and a phone on me in the room. Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. I did smoke the cigarette and got that fine, but they caught me with the phone after a while. I was sat down texting, and then somebody went zoom on the shutter, and I was like, and they seen it. Oh, no. So they came in and took the phone off.
No, so I've never been in a cell, but I would imagine.
That's great.
I would have thought sitting against the door would be the best place to use your phone because they'd be looking down and not be able to see you.
Yeah, Yeah, probably to be stood against the door.
How old were you then, though? What was your logical brain like at this
probably
age?
18.
Yeah, so no one's got a logical brain at that age.
No. But yeah. I don't. Where were we going with that? Where did that come from? Because you said
prison,
chat
working in
pocket.
prison,
Yeah.
yeah.
That was it. That's an interesting job. Prison.
I was.
Was it depressing? Do you feel like, it's a horrible place, prison?
Yeah.
You know? Like, it's a place of misery.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
And the thing as well, it's a young offenders institute, so
God.
they're all dickheads.
Really?
Like, I've heard stories from my dad from his prison service career, and a lot of his was category A, top security. They're murderers, they're gangsters. They just want a quiet life. You know, they're like 50-year-old on the back end of a 20-year sentence. They don't want trouble. They don't want to fight an officer and get another 10 years.
No.
They just want to go to work, earn their fiver, buy some fags from the canteen, and go to bed, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
But young offenders are just knobheads.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I'm going to play devil's advocate again. Yes, they are knobheads, but it's, you know, environment, stuff like that. A lot of these kids that are in there haven't had the best opportunities in life. You know, there's a reason for it. People aren't born bad.
If you're on the street in the winter,
Yeah.
you'd do something to get a roof and 3 square meals, wouldn't you?
Of course you would.
I know I would if I was homeless.
Of course you would. I mean, some of these young people probably weren't homeless, though, were they? They were just...
I'm sure there's probably a
bad
fair
lads.
share of them.
You think? Do you think?
I reckon there probably was. I didn't really speak to many prisoners, but I bet you some of them were homeless and stuff like that, yeah.
I always, you know, in my view, people in prison aren't homeless people. They're, you know, the people who've done wrong. They're criminals. You know, people...
As a vast majority of them were just teenage knobheads. Bit of twacking, bit of fighting. And
I don't know anybody that went to a young offenders institute.
no,
Nobody.
I don't know anyone personally.
No. Do you, Southpaw?
Who's actually in prison or being?
No, who had to go to a young offenders institute? when you were young? I never met nobody.
Fortunately not. No, I don't know anyone in that.
I think at that age, you're just doing stupid little things, and when the copper knocks on your door, it scares you straight.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does. So do you know? So I'm assuming to where you are now, you've done job after job after job after job.
Yeah.
Basically, that's the crack, and you're now a lorry driver.
I am.
Good call, by the way.
Loving
Lorry
it.
driver. Yeah. I bet it was a chew doing the test, though, was it?
Not really.
No?
I'm a confident driver anyway.
Right.
No, I did like a 1 week intensive course. I took a week off work, and it was a 5-day, 7 o'clock in the morning for 5 days of that week. 3 days was just driving around, you know, because if you can drive a car, you're 90% there anyway.
Yeah.
So you're driving around with this 40-foot trailer on the back. You learn how to reverse and how to get the trailer on and off and the safety checks and things like that. And the Thursday I did the reverse test and failed it. The Friday I did it again and passed it. Then there's the theory, then there's the practical test. So it took me 5 days.
What was the standoff you had with the DVLA? That was where it was worded to me. Wasn't there some standoff where you wouldn't renew your license for a while?
Oh, no, it wasn't as bad as that. You bet that sounded really bad. No,
I've heard, again, it was grapevine. I heard from my mum that Rob's having a standoff with the DVLA.
I didn't own a car for about 10 years.
Right.
Because my work and my family were literally a 10-minute walk from my house.
You didn't have a need.
So I didn't need a car. But then when it came to renew my license eventually, it was a silly woman in the post office. I took in the form, filled in, written the check out and everything, and said, "Oh, you don't need that. Do this one." Blah, blah, blah. Sends it off. The DVLA said it's the wrong form, but we've returned your passport to the last address that we had on record for you. So that was my passport gone.
Ah.
So that was about 80 quid to get the new passport, and then had to apply again with the fee again to get my driving license renewed.
She didn't want to do it.
I got sick of it.
So it was a standoff then?
They've lost my bloody passport. They haven't lost it. They did the right thing and sent it to the address they had on record for me, which was like 10 years ago. So I was like, I don't want to go through that chew again. They're going to lose my passport again. But when you need it, you need it.
You've been a scout all your life?
Yeah, until only a couple of years ago, I stopped doing it, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go straight into the deep end. I watched a Netflix documentary, Southpaw, on the Scouts. And it was America.
Yeah.
But it was horrifying.
Okay.
It was horrifying. this is probably something you don't want to hear.
From what I gather, the American Boy Scouts is very different to the British Scouts.
Well, they look the same.
But I would like to hear about it, yeah.
They look the same. You know, I hate to say this, but the whole thing is basically about paedophiles. That's basically what it's about.
That's always the joke about Scouts.
Yeah, this weren't no joke. No. Yeah. I know that is the like the banter that goes on, but no, you know, this is probably where it came from. But there was some horrific things going on.
Was it Robert Hamilton, the guy that did Dunblane? I was only a kid when that happened. I remember the news bagging on about him being a scout leader lot when that happened. I was a kid when that happened, but I'm sure the news get banging on about him being a scout leader a lot.
Yeah. I actually, you know, if you take that horrible, you know, thing out of it, like the thing of a scout, I think it's a great thing for kids to learn.
Yeah.
You know, I think learning, of course, it's not pure, you know, hardcore Bear Grylls survival, but it gives kids an understanding.
You get your hands dirty. You learn to work as a team. So, for example, you get to a camp and the leaders say, put your tents up then. And you've got to work it out. You're like 10, 12 years old. And so there's a pile of tents, the pile of kids. We need to get these tents up so we can sleep somewhere tonight.
Gives you a great understanding of problem solving, I'd imagine.
Definitely.
As a kid.
Solving. Did you do some scouts?
I think, was it called Cubs?
Yeah,
That's something. I did Cubs for a couple of
like
years.
8 to 12-year-old or something like that.
Yeah, so I think I did it for a couple of years. My mum forced me into it, and it wasn't too bad. You learn how to like start a fire without anything.
I've done some awesome activities.
Yeah, so it was quite good. Yeah, I haven't got any bad memories of it.
One of my favourite ones. They split us into 2 teams, and at each end of the field there was a pile of sticks, an ice cream container, and a bin bag for the water balloons.
So you got a pile of sticks.
And you had to build a catapult.
Right.
But as soon as your catapult was built, you could start firing the water bombs. You didn't have to wait for the other team to finish the catapult.
Right.
So if you were the second team to finish the catapult, you were getting bombarded with water balloons as you were trying to... I don't think there was a winner or a loser. It was just really good fun, just pelting water bombs across the length of the field.
As you know, that could be the solution. You know, we've said that talking about the kids stuck on computers or out doing crime. Well, there is another alternative. You can keep them active in stuff like this, you know. I think it's pretty wholesome.
I mean, both of us are in the Scouts, but we do things outdoors. A few years ago, we went out with some friends of ours down to the riverbank.
Right.
And we dug a hole in the sand, filled it with wood and coal, put some metal bars over the top, and cooked steaks on the riverbank.
Oh,
and the kids loved it.
Yeah. Can you light a fire without a lighter? Is that? Because I think that's a
but
myth.
it takes a long, long time. It's not like you see in the movies or even Bear Grylls.
No. Because in the movie, you just see them go like this and blow, and then a fire starts. Yeah.
To make a single spark without equipment,
Right.
it takes hours.
What do you use? Just wood?
On the last resort, yeah.
Right. You're not lighting a fire with that,
The
though,
big
are you?
thing is basically flint and steel, where you rub them against each other and sparks shower out.
Right.
Then if you've got some dry kindling or some dry grass, those sparks will light it.
Right.
If you're doing it with a bit of wood and rubbing your hands on it,
You're there a while.
it could be hours for your first spark.
You lose your skin on your hands.
You're hoping that sets the grass on fire.
Yeah.
Else you've got to go for another few hours to get your second spark.
But have you seen somebody light a fire from nothing before or not?
I don't think I have in person.
Because I haven't, no.
I've been shown the technique for doing it, but I've never actually seen a person do it.
Maybe it's a myth.
With just dry
Maybe if
wood.
that's like the case, like they know everyone's going to die anyway, so they're like, "Oh, just keep him busy so he's not thinking about dying."
Maybe.
You know? Maybe. Who knows? But Scouts, yeah, like, I think it's great for kids.
Yeah.
And it's a great idea. Did you ever encounter any weirdos in your Scouts?
No.
None.
None at all.
Nothing whatsoever.
Nah.
That's good. Where were your Scouts? Here, Darlow or London?
Cosby, because I moved up here in my mid-20s, so it was all Cosby, South Leicestershire Scouts. I never saw anything strange or untoward like that. And then I was a leader up here for quite a few years as well. Again, never saw anything strange or untoward.
What's that thing? I watched it in the Scout documentary, like the highest grade you can get. I forget the name.
The chief scout is Bear Grylls, and that means he's the top scout in the UK.
Yeah. No.
So if you get your Queen Scout, it's probably called the King Scout Award now, isn't it? But if you get that,
Yeah.
Bear Grylls will present that to you himself.
Really? So he is actually a scout?
Yeah.
Bear Grylls?
He is the top scout in the UK. And when I was a leader, it was the Queen Scout Award. I'm sure it's the King Scout Award now. But he'd present that to everyone who got that was awarded it by Bear Grylls.
This might be American, but it says the Chief Scout
But
Diamond
that's the UK
Award.
site that's from, yeah.
Right, okay.
And it's the final step before the King Scout Award.
Right. No, there was in the documentary I watched. It wasn't called that, but there was like the highest rank scout. It wasn't called that though. I forget what it was called. I'd recognise it if I saw it.
Well,
Basically-
obviously, in Britain, we swear over to God and the King.
Right.
Right. America don't have a king, do they? So
No,
it will be different. Yeah.
Yeah, but no, look, look, I never was, I was never in the Scouts. It didn't interest me. I was offered it, but I wasn't interested in it. But and I think it's really good for young people to be into
I
stuff
think
like
part
that.
of it's being in a small village as well, because it feels to me like every boy was either in the Scouts or the Boys Brigade or the Army Cadets. Maybe that's just because there's nothing else to do in a small village.
Maybe. What? So like a big,
The nearest swimming pool was like 5-6 miles away.
really?
There's not a lot to do in the evening after school.
No. So the vast majority of people in your
Yeah,
village.
you
were
join
in
the
these
football
things.
cricket team or you join the cadets or the Scouts was the
Village
gist
life.
of it. Yeah.
Village life. Sounds nice. Sounds nice. I'll be honest. You know.
Lovely. That's a teenager. You're desperate for the hustle and bustle in the nightclubs. Whereas being older now, I'd definitely prefer the country life. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thing is, the country life though, like as a townie, as somebody who's been used to town, some villages do have shops and things, but I've always thought like some villages are so small. They don't have petrol stations. They don't have shops. And
I think you've got to be organised, especially in the winter.
yeah, what's the crack with like the toilets and stuff? Like I've seen some houses in the country. They have like no, they don't have like proper plumbing.
We had toilets.
Yes, no, I'm sure you had toilets, but isn't there a thing where like you get like silos and stuff?
Some places way out in the sticks aren't on the main systems.
That green
Yeah.
thing. Basically, it's a big barrel full of
The one you'll
feces.
see above the ground, I believe, is heating oil. And below the ground, they'll have a septic system for the toilets.
Right, that sounds like a
But
nightmare.
yeah, way out in the sticks, it just costs too much to get the services out there.
Yeah.
All the ditches you have to dig.
Yeah, I can imagine. Imagine what they did before that. Like before, you had a man that brought you fuel and a man that cleaned your septic tank. Like
Well, there's a campsite in the grounds of Raby Castle,
right,
a scout campsite, which has no plumbing.
right.
And you literally just dig a cesspit when you get there and fill it in when you leave.
Nice. Yeah. So have you been any interesting places in your life?
With the Scouts, I went to Switzerland because that's where the International Scout HQ is. In
Is it?
Kandersteg, yeah.
I thought it was in a. Oh no.
The
documentary said it was
International
English.
Scout. So, yeah, did the week in Kandersteg.
Right.
Did a bit of whitewater rafting. Did some mountain climbing.
Yeah.
The big one that we did was a 2-day expedition from the centre to the top of the Hockenhorn. And we
Right.
slept in the cabin halfway up the Hockenhorn that night.
Never. No electric.
No, there was electric. There was a proper... To us, it felt like there was a proper cafe there, but I'm sure it was just they bought the food up because they knew there's a group staying there.
I had a friend recently
it's
that
beautiful. See that river as well that goes through it? It's the kind of blue you get in the hot tub at your gym.
yeah.
It's beautiful. And the weird thing, it's just because we're British and we're not used to this. In bad weather, the water level goes down because
Oh.
the snow stays frozen.
Oh.
And when it's sunny, the river comes up. But yeah, that blue on the river is the blue it is. It's a beautiful place.
I had a friend recently that went to Switzerland, and I'm subscribed to things on Instagram, and I always
That's,
get
the big picture on the right there. I believe that's actually the building we stayed in. It looks really familiar. So if you take the picture to the left, it was on the big preview, sorry. I'm pretty sure the building on the left, that picture is the one we stayed in. It looks really familiar.
it looks very
Beautiful
stereotypically,
place.
very stereotypical
Yeah.
Swiss. But I had a friend that went there, and like most people, I have all the things on Instagram, and it shows me all of the amazing Instagram pictures, and I'm sure it's pretty, but I always thought, it's full of, it's just sales. This is just like Switzerland. Anyway, this person went and sent me pictures of Switzerland, and it is exactly the same. It is really that pretty.
We did one day in, is it Basel where the Formula One is?
I don't
I
know.
remember the name of the city because I recognised it from the Formula One. We went there and we were sat by a lake having a coffee, and it's glacial water.
Right,
And we sat there for half an hour watching a duck feeding
right.
because water's dirty in Britain. And we were watching it from the surface, dive all the way down to the weeds and peck away at the weeds. And the water was so crystal clear, we were just engrossed in this duck for half an hour because we've never seen it over here because our water's all black and murky. It's the little things when you're out in nature.
Yeah, it's a stunning place.
I found wild salamanders on one of my mountain climbs.
A salamander. What's a salamander?
A little lizard. At the time, I had 2 pet ones.
Right.
And I found some little I had some yellow and black ones, which are tiger salamanders. And yeah, that big, I had 2 of those.
Size of that there.
So
that's
I've left them
terrible.
at home, I've gone to Switzerland, and I found a wild red and black one halfway up a mountain.
I tell you what, if I seen that thing there, oh my God. What are you saying, Southpaw?
Yeah, it's weird. It's like a frog but fish at the same time, isn't it?
So I found a wild, I believe it's called a fire salamander, half up this mountain in Switzerland, and I was able to pick it up and hold it in my hand. It was same as anything.
That's horrific.
It's horrific.
Because I knew what it was, because I recognised it, I knew it was safe and not venomous.
Looks a bit like a newt, doesn't it?
I wouldn't recommend picking up lizards in the wild if you don't know what they are.
Isn't like when you see something yellow, isn't that nature's way of telling you not to touch it?
Yeah, you should wash your hands after handling it.
Right. Because that looks like that.
Definitely don't eat them. But
Yeah. It looks like it's probably not good to touch.
so I've not seen any pictures of the wild, but it was bright red. It was a
What's that frog?
beautiful thing.
Isn't there a frog that if you touch it, like messes you up?
Don't the tribes rub arrows on it to
Yeah,
make them
yeah, yeah.
poisonous? Yeah, I think it's called the poison dart frog or something like that.
Yeah. Some frogs you can't touch because they'll mess you up if you touch them. Imagine that. You can't
Yeah.
touch them.
Madness, isn't it?
Yeah, tribes use them, don't they, to hunt the prey?
I know the bright colours meant to scare off predators by saying I'm poisonous, right? Yeah, I think it's a bit of flexing as well. Like, I haven't got to hide. I don't need camouflage. Try it, big boy.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know what?
But then we did this 2-day walk up the Hockenhorn. And obviously, you can imagine how tired we were when we got back to the centre. 2 days climbing the mountain. The next day we booked for whitewater rafting. We didn't plan the route very well. We went to the train station and realised the step onto the train was too big for us. We're literally having to pick our legs up to get onto the train.
Oh, 'cause you're knackered.
We get the train to the whitewater rafting centre. You ever put a wetsuit on?
Once.
Can you imagine putting a wetsuit on when every muscle in the lower 3/4 of your body's on fire?
Yeah.
The moans and the noises that were coming out of this group
Nasty.
of scouts.
Nasty. No, I can imagine. Like, I've climbed a mountain before. and
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel it.
And then we've got maybe 500 metres from the top of the Hockenhorn. And, yeah, we're now, the top's there. We're finally 2 days walking. And this old man, he looks about 70, jogged past us.
He jogged past you.
He jogged past us. And we're like, what the fuck?
Is this the Hockenhorn?
That's the one.
How high is it?
Oh, I can't remember off the top of my head.
Is it the biggest one in Switzerland? Oh, no.
I don't know if it's the biggest, but it's definitely one of the more famous ones. I think because of the shape of it, it's one of the more famous ones.
Right.
But yeah, the old man jogged past us right at the top of that summit.
You know, it just came up there like 3,000 metres. That means nothing to me. That means
Nah.
absolutely nothing.
I've been
You
there
know.
and I can't.
No.
What does 3,000 metres mean?
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was,
I'll tell you
it was high.
gorgeous. we stayed in this cabin overnight and we're having breakfast in the morning. The guide said to us, see that mountain over the clouds over there?
Right.
That's Mont Blanc. Oh, fucking hell.
Mont Blanc. Isn't that a designer? Mont
It's
Blanc.
one of the famous French mountains.
Is it?
It feels like a dream even when you're there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I've been. Where is Mont Blanc? Just in the Alps.
Yeah, that's the French Alps. Obviously, we were in the Swiss Alps. It's
Yeah.
like,
I've been skiing, I think, in Italy, and you could see Mont Blanc from there.
From
it's
Italy?
like,
Yeah.
even when you're there, it feels like, nah, that can't be real, can it?
Yeah. Oh, it was.
Oh, it's a beautiful place.
Well, listen, hold that thought. I'm going to pee because then when I come back, I'm going to switch it up.
Okay,
because
let's do it.
we've done the This Is Your Life bit.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
we haven't even touched on it.
No, but I've got some things I want to ask you about. So
Okay.
hold that thought.
Let's do it.
So, Rob, you know what I was going to do? I was going to switch it up, but you might be taking me the other way now. Because,
Okay, where's this going?
well, do you know what it is, right? You've got one of them minds that I really like to hear your opinion on it.
Okay.
And I had like the AI stuff. I had the Epstein stuff. There's been an update since we last speak properly, Daniel.
It's even been up on COVID.
But you said we haven't even touched the sides on This Is Your Life stuff.
Yeah.
Tell me some, because I don't know your life. So tell me some stuff that's happened in your life that you think would be interesting for me to hear.
Well, in my adult life, outside my day job, I've been a DJ.
Tell me about
Ran a
that.
burlesque night.
Ah,
I've been a professional wrestler.
yeah.
I'm I'm a fully qualified personal trainer.
Really?
I'm now a trucker.
Right. So let's
I've done
unpack
some stuff.
Let's unpack some of this. You were a DJ.
Yeah.
Where were you a DJ?
Local pubs around Darlington.
Okay.
There was no alternative music night.
What's alternative music?
So when I first moved up here, there was a a monthly and a weekly like heavy metal, hard rock night. The kind of place where you could headbang to Slipknot or mosh to Green Day or
There's none of that in
you
Darlington.
don't hear that. So when I first went there was a monthly one and a weekly one, and then a few years later there was none.
Right.
So at my local pub, I got on very well with the landlord, and I said, "Can I host one? I think we'll get lots of people in because there isn't one." And it went brilliantly.
Where was this at?
This was at the Black Swan.
I know it, yes.
So we did that for maybe 5 or 6 months before the landlord got kicked out by the brewery.
How do you DJ that kind of music?
Same way you do any kind of music.
But like, how you can't mix that music.
No, they have intros and infills and outros, and
Are you doing it on vinyl or CDs or digital?
it was all digital at this point.
Right.
Virtual DJ and a massive hard drive.
Like, obviously, I'm not a DJ in case you couldn't tell, right? But for me, like, you get, dance music, rave music, hip hop music, Motown music.
Yeah.
Everything's got a beat.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how you DJ it.
Yeah.
Off the beat. But when you get the rah,
See, you're revealing yourself now as not a metalhead.
no, I'm not. I don't
Heavy
dislike
metal
it.
has a very definite beat to it.
Does it?
Very definite tempo, very definite drum beats. So you
Really?
can beat match it. And I say they've all got outros and intros, and
Right.
there's places where you can mix them in and out.
So this night you did it the Mucky Duck, as
Yeah,
we call
the
it. in
Mucky
Darlow.
Duck, yep.
As we call it in Darlow. You got a crowd,
Oh yeah, there was no competition.
and it was a full on headbanging
Yep.
mosh, full on.
It was me and 2 other regular DJs, and we'd get the occasional guest DJ in.
Right.
And yeah, we all had our different styles. So I'm into my punk, my death metal, and the floor fillers at the end of the night.
Right. What's a floor filler in Viking music land?
Oh man, bit of Rammstein, Sonne, or Du hast is a floor filler.
Say that
You've
again.
got
I
a
didn't
blank
understand.
face there.
I didn't understand a word you said.
There's a very popular German heavy metal industrial band called Rammstein.
Rammstein.
Yeah, and some of their biggest hits are Sonne.
Let's have a look if Rammstein look like the stereotype.
Du hast.
You're going to have to help me on the
Before
spelling.
Southpaw looks this up, paint me a picture. What do you
Of
think
Rammstein.
Rammstein look like? They're a German industrial metal band.
Industrial metal.
Yes.
Is it that sound? The screaming
No,
stuff.
it's kind of got Kraftwerk style keyboards and a bang, bang, bang industrial beat.
Okay.
And a big,
Okay.
coarse German singing over the top.
I think he looks like Scooter.
That's them.
Well, I didn't guess that.
I've seen them live. I was with my brother seeing them live. And at one point, because they're German, I assume it's because they're German, he stands aboard a very large pink cannon and sprays foam into the crowd. And we're all stood there applauding. My brother said, "Do you know what? If you did that off your balcony, you'd be arrested." And we're applauding this man.
Right. Right.
They're famous for their firework. Did you ever see the film Triple X with Vin Diesel?
That's a giant penis.
He sprays foam over the crowd from that giant penis, yeah. And we applauded him for that.
White foam.
Now you'll see that the title of that video, that's Rammstein performing their song Pussy.
Right.
You have the dicker. So I have the dicker, you have the pussy.
Right.
So let's do it quick.
You know,
Each to their own.
do you know what though? I'll say this now. It may not be my cup of tea, but I bet you it's a hell of a night. I bet if you go
Look
there,
at those wings there. They're famous for their fireworks and their flamethrowers.
but if you go past that, I don't like this music, and you get involved in this, I bet it's one hell of a night.
Did you ever see the movie Triple X for Vin Diesel?
What, where he kicks his face into the curb? And it
This
makes,
is the band that played at the start of the movie.
Right. No, I'm talking about American History X.
Oh, yeah, it's a very different film.
Yes.
This was Vin Diesel doing stunts for the sake of... I never know what the storyline was, but Vin Diesel was lots and lots of stunts.
Have you ever seen that film in American History X where he makes him bite the
Rough,
curb?
isn't it?
Have you seen that before, Southpaw?
I can't say I
It's one of
have.
the most disturbing things I've
Yeah.
ever seen in a film.
What's the
It's
film
basically-
called?
it's about,
Norton. Edward Norton, that's the actor, isn't it?
you know, how the guy we work with, he looks just like him. But he basically, it's obviously racial, and he's like a white supremacist,
Yeah.
right? And he makes...
He's got the giant swastika on his
That's
chest,
it.
hasn't
And he
he?
makes
Yeah.
an African-American man bite the curb with his teeth.
And he stamps on the back of
And
his
he
head.
stamps in the back of his head.
Oh
You can
my-
imagine what goes on.
brutal.
Jaw, teeth.
Yeah.
Mate.
Yeah, I tried to search that. It wasn't allowing.
No. It's a bad
So yeah, so
one.
that band would be a floor filler in a goth club.
Right.
Evanescence, Limp
Evanescence.
Bizkit.
I know Limp Bizkit.
They'll get the floor filled. Yeah. And then one of the DJs was into his EBM and industrial music, so he played a lot of that sort of stuff.
It's way out of my realms of understanding, but I'm going to say this now. If I, talking about lanes, if I wasn't in the lane I was in, I think it'd be really interesting to be in that lane because I actually think they're quite cool.
I'd happily take you to a gig or a metal
I'd go.
night. Yeah,
I'd go. Life's about experiences.
Well, I took Amy to her first metal gig last year.
She told me about it.
Yeah, she, in her words, she turned to liquid to escape the mosh pit.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I've never been in a mosh pit before. You just batter each other. Is that what it is?
There's rules. You don't intentionally hurt each other.
Right.
You'll tend to jump shoulder to shoulder.
What is
or back
moshing?
to back.
Just jumping up and down? What is a mosh?
There's different forms. There's the circle pit. There's the wall of death. There's stuff. But generally speaking,
How does one mosh?
a gap will emerge into the standing crowd in front of the stage.
I understand
A
that.
space will open out, and people jump into each other kind of shoulder to shoulder or back to back. If you're on the edge of the pit, you'll push people back into the middle. But there's rules. You don't try and hurt each other. If someone falls down, everybody will crowd around and get them back to their feet as quick as they can.
Okay.
So it's a friendly place.
It's a friendly place. Yeah. I mean,
it's like sparring. Sparring's a friendly thing.
yeah, they look like a friendly
So
bunch.
this, see this one with the big yellow face on it, this thumbnail? This is a wall of death where the crowd will split into two. The band will tell the crowd to split into two.
Right.
And when they hit the chorus, those sides will run into each other at full speed.
Right. Right. Carnage.
The circle pit is where people start kind of dancing and skipping around in a circle, getting faster and faster and faster, and dragging more and more people into it.
And this is all to this type of music, yeah?
Yeah, this is all to heavy metal music. Yeah,
Whilst getting sprayed with a foam cock. a cock that shoots foam.
yeah.
Right.
It's all good
Penis.
family fun.
Yeah. It looks like a fight, doesn't it?
It does look like a
looks
fight. It's like sparring.
Looks like a fight.
You're not trying to hurt anybody.
No.
However, here's one more funny stories for you. I went to Download Festival one year,
Okay.
and I saw 1.5 bands before being rushed to hospital.
What happened?
I got to watch. So it started off in the morning.
Okay.
I had a bacon sandwich, and the plan was to consume nothing but vodka until the music had finished, and then get a curry from the food vans in the camping area. So I got to see Killswitch Engage.
That's a band.
That's a band.
Okay.
Very good band. And then the next band was Limp Bizkit. Now, I'm wearing new rock boots,
Right.
an old lady's dress from a charity shop,
Love this.
and all I've had all day is one bacon sandwich and vodka.
Right.
Well, I fell over on my arse in the mosh pit and popped out a giant hernia
Where was the hernia?
out the side of my bollocks.
Sorry, what? Say that again?
I have 3 bollocks, basically. It looked like 3 balls.
You herniated your testicles.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, there was a hernia from the intestines, but it came out from the bottom.
Oh my days.
So they took me
popped out your
to
groin.
they took me to Derbyshire or Derby Royal Infirmary, and they said, "Have you had any? What have you had to eat and drink today before we take you in for surgery?" I said, "I've had a bacon sandwich and vodka. Nothing else. No. No drugs. No." They didn't believe me.
Oh.
They put me 24
I
hours.
mean, you're wearing a dress.
24 hours nil by mouth
Right.
after only having the bacon sandwich and vodka all day anyway.
Starving.
Yeah, I was eating my hand. And I eventually came around from the surgery and they'd saved me a lunch. Very nice nurses there.
How do they get rid of a hernia?
I think they push it back in and sew the hole shut.
Oh, no. Hang on.
I was in the
What
general.
do you mean
so
the hole? What hole?
a hernia is when your organs pop out through your abdominal lining. So I think they push it back in and sew the hole shut.
I thought a hernia was where your muscle tears open and
Yeah,
the
and
innards.
then stuff pops out.
yeah. I have a tiny one on one of my abs. Tiny.
But I think they just push it back in and sew it shut.
Huh.
But I came round, the lovely nurses saved me a lunch from that day.
Right.
And I said to the nurse, "This is the best cup of tea I've ever had."
Yeah.
And she's like, "I can tell you've been nil by mouth for 24 hours.
I bet. Wow. A
And then my
hernia.
poor dad had to drive from Darlington to Derby to pick me up from hospital. And I could barely walk.
God. A hernia coming out your groin.
Yeah.
Wow. Nasty.
So the story that I told for a long time after that was that Fred Durst stole my ball. So as I was dizzy in the ambulance, my mate started the rumour that they'd had to remove a testicle.
Right.
People believed it. That
Right.
rumour went around the entire Download Festival.
Right. So people thought you'd lost the ball.
By the time I got home and, I'm on Facebook and there's messages coming in. Did you lose a bollock at download? No.
I mean, in the mosh pitch, you can see how something like that could happen.
Then I became known as DJ One Ball.
DJ One Ball.
And my story for a while was that Fred Durst stole my ball.
Right. Okay. So you were when you said DJ, I thought, no, you've used some turntables. No, you were a DJ.
I ran my own night.
Right.
Marketing, promotion, finding the venues for it.
Why did you stop
Sourcing
that?
the equipment.
Can't you keep doing it?
I went to a different pub, which I don't know if I should name or not on the basis of the story, but I was in their function room there, and at the end of the night, we'd stick all our stuff in a locked store cupboard behind the stage.
Okay.
I went there to set up 1 month, and all my shit had gone missing.
No way. What stuff?
I literally had the amp and the mixing board. All the lights had gone.
What? The bang lot?
And they said, so I phoned the police, like, oh, my shit's gone missing. Hundreds of pounds worth of stuff. And the pub told the police there was no CCTV. And I was like, bollocks, there's 2 entrances to that room. And thousands of pounds worth of music equipment. And a locked door. You've got CCTV of who's, come on.
Do you think the pub knows who it was?
I think the landlady took it herself.
I think you should name and shame him.
At the time, it was called the Tap and Spile.
Yeah,
I don't know what the surname was, but the landlord was called Tony.
That seems to pass around that pub, though. So I'm pretty sure the same owners don't own it. It's literally...
Oh, no, it's definitely not the same owners anymore. Yeah.
No.
It's not even that name anymore.
No. What is it now?
English Gentleman? The Old English? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Have you never thought about getting back into that, though? Because, from the outset, looking at it, there is a market for it. There is a lot of, there is a community of that. And unless something goes on that I don't know about, there isn't anything in our town for it.
The money, the time and the work that goes into it isn't worth the money that you get out of it.
Do it for the passion.
Yeah.
Break even.
I would do it for the passion. However, my day job nowadays,
I wouldn't allow
I'd be absolutely dead on my feet an hour into the night.
Yeah, you would. That's true.
If I was still working part-time, I probably would do it for the passion still, yeah, definitely.
I'd say if you ran a night like that, I'd definitely come.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah, why not? I'd be a number one fan. It sounds good.
It's a shame you missed out, yeah.
Can we get a more rudimentary, can we get a cock that shoots foam on people? Can we copy that?
If you've got the money, you can get anything.
Have they copywritten that? Do they own the rights to a big cock shooting foam at people?
Is that something you can copyright? I don't know.
I bet it's been tried. Yeah. No, I think it's great. I think it's great that you did that. I never knew that about you. I never knew that you did that. When you said DJ, I was like, yeah, right, mate. No,
everyone
really
calls themselves DJ. Yeah.
Yeah, but you did.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, if you ever do, let me know, because I want to play.
Absolutely.
So you mentioned a few other things, not just the DJ. And what was the other thing you mentioned?
After the DJing, I took what little equipment I had, bought some new lights and stuff. Well, I was going to actually quit.
Okay.
And a friend of mine said, don't. Give it one last chance. She was a burlesque dancer.
That was it, burlesque.
And she said, give it one last shot, right? Let's start a burlesque night. So, but basically, we're in the pub one night going, would it be cool if there was a night, right, where this happened, and then this happened, then this happened? It's like, we can do this. I'm a DJ and you're a burlesque dancer. We can make this happen. So we did. We found a pub in Richmond that would put us on. We booked some burlesque dancers and some entertainers and did about 5 or 6 shows, and they were fantastic.
But hang on. That screamy, shouty, heavy metal music, that doesn't really go with the burlesque dancer
I've
vibe.
got a very varied music taste. Very, very, yeah.
So what were you playing when the burlesques were playing? Do you have to play like Moulin Rouge and shit?
A lot of swing. I'll tell you, a song that sums it up for me was Candyman by Christina Aguilera. That kind of music, the sort of 20s, swingish, bit of jazz,
Bit of that.
That kind of music. But my DJing there was more filler between the performers. It wasn't to make people dance, it was just fill the silence between the performers.
I've got you.
So the first show we did, we had a man playing a saw. So he sits with the handle of the saw between his legs and a violin fiddle, and he plays it like a cello.
Like a cello. I'll tell you something I went the other day. Have you heard of this before? I think it's quite recent. You'll have heard of it, Southpaw. Bloom. You heard of Bloom? In Middlesbrough?
No,
Oh, no, I've heard of Bloom, yeah. Is that the one that's open till daft o'clock?
No, well, I don't know. It has like burlesque type nights, Great Gatsby nights.
Yeah.
I went to it not long ago, and what a great experience that was. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if it was burlesque. I don't know what they were doing. There was people in, what is burlesque? Where they wear like pants and feathers and shit. It was that kind of stuff.
Have you heard of Dieter Von Teese? That's
Yes.
probably the most famous burlesque performer there's been.
I've heard about him. Don't worry about that. Yeah, I'm very familiar with her.
It's the sort of vintage style
Yeah, that's what it was.
tease.
I think there's a big market for that.
There is. It's very popular.
Yeah. When I went, it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And I remember what you said, like, there wasn't a DJ, but there was a musician, and
Yeah.
he was filling the gaps
That's
between
it, yeah.
What a fun experience it was. I was really dead set against it. It was a bit, a bit like, a bit too much for me. Wow,
But
great.
What I liked the show we did, there wasn't a stage. It was like one flat floor for the room.
Okay.
So it felt very intimate because the performers were literally inches from the front row of people that were watching.
Yeah. What do burlesques do, apart from look pretty?
Literally dance. There's always a theme or a story to the dance.
Is burlesque dancing like? Is it like a type of dancing?
Yeah,
a particular way.
maybe like the movie Cabaret is a good way to look at it.
Right. Yeah, this is what I saw.
Yeah, it's
this
kind
stuff.
of Moulin Rouge, Cabaret, lots of frills, lots of corsets, lots of top hats.
Yeah, mine was like
They
Moulin
don't,
Rouge.
they
night
don't
that I went
strip,
to.
they tease.
That's it.
Normally to some jazzy, swingy music.
Yeah, sounds like a good night, right?
It's really good fun. Yeah, really good laugh. But it wasn't just burlesque. We had comedians and magicians, and my favourite night, we had a band called Rosie.
Okay, what's Rosie?
They were about 3 months from winning Radio 1's Battle of the Bands. Mm-hmm. And we managed to book them right after that.
No way.
That was awesome, yeah.
Huh. So how long did this burlesque night thing go on for then?
It was a monthly thing, maybe 5-6 months.
Right,
Had a lot of fun. Again, it was just the work. When you're marketing something like this, it's all month solid,
But the thing is, though, Rob, it's all online now. Everything's online.
But even though I'd put together a really nice Photoshop poster, I'd pay the printers to get it printed off. Then we'd hit Darlington and Richmond, getting these posters up as many places as we could, and the online marketing, and booking the dancers and performers, and getting it all together on that. It's a lot of. It did well. We made some good money off it. Whether the work was worth the money we made off it is up for debate. Again, great fun. I would do it again just for the passion of doing it.
I think you should, and I think you could. I think time moves on a little bit, and I think you wouldn't need to be putting posters up places. I think you could literally do it all from a Facebook, Instagram, TikTok type account.
Maybe.
Literally
maybe
the bang
could.
off.
Yeah.
Word of mouth spreads too.
Yeah.
In that community.
Definitely,
You'll
yeah.
still have connections, right?
Yeah.
I mean, a couple of hours a night, a few phone calls, a few emails, a little play on social media. You could literally set it up, You should.
It was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So what else have we got? Obviously, we got the DJing. Sounds fun.
So after the burlesque, I went to a wrestling school, and
yes, I love this.
he didn't want his prop wrestling is still carny. He didn't want to pay for the DJ gear, so he traded it for wrestling lessons.
Hang on. Let's go back. So these are related.
Yeah.
So hang on. You're saying that the guy. Tell me how this happened. How does this relate
So
to this
first of
gear?
all, I go to a local indie wrestling show, right? And I enjoy it. I get to one of the wrestlers afterwards, and I said, I'd love to have a go at this.
So it's like an amateur wrestling show.
Yeah.
So you've watched it, bit of fun, blah blah.
Got chatting to the wrestlers. I'd love to have a go at this. We trained in Middlesbrough.
Right. So you got talking to somebody.
So I pop along. I said, can I have a go?
Right.
I get into it. And then the guy that runs the promotion heard that I've got some DJ gear that I'm trying to get rid of. He's like, I don't really want to give you the however many £100 I was looking for it. Right. Well, I'll just give you free wrestling lessons up to that value.
Huh. How many wrestling lessons did you get for that?
Oh, it was a lot. We had a list going for a long, long time, just crossing a number off every week.
What happens in a wrestling lesson?
The most important thing is you learn how to fall safely.
Right.
So everyone says wrestling's fake. It's not.
No.
If a 6-foot man lifts you above his head and drops you face first, you're hitting the floor face first. So most of it is learning how to safely hit the floor face first.
Oh, yeah. Funny enough, I heard a podcast the other day and they were interviewing Hulk Hogan done the rounds.
Yeah.
Basically, he was on Theo's, he was on Joe Rogan's, blah, blah, blah. And no, look, there are elements of it. They're not really having a fight. They're not fighting each other. But when somebody, like you say, when somebody's jumping off the ropes and banging, that you can't fake that. That's happening.
I mean, say for example, say a splash off the top rope. Yeah, or an elbow. Everyone knows what an elbow drop is. An elbow drop from the top turnbuckle. If you did it really, really safe and landed on your feet more than your elbow, it looks like shit. You've got to get that balance of landing the elbow in their ribs first, but not breaking his ribs. It's a fine line to walk.
Very taxing on the body, from what Hulk was saying.
Yeah,
he was, and he painted a picture of their heyday, like the 80s, 90s, whenever it was, and they were doing the schedule was mental.
Still is.
They were doing 5-6 days a week, flat out, and they were doing Japan to America to this. So it was do a show, train, aeroplane, show, and it was just a circle of this.
A WWE wrestler now will spend 50 weeks a year on the road.
Imagine that.
Wild.
Imagine your body.
Yeah.
Imagine what that's doing to your body. It's not like our athletes. Yes, they perform to high levels. Your UFCs, your boxers, your footballers. But it's not every day.
Exactly.
And there's big breaks in between, recoveries, right? Some of these guys were running on cocaine, vodka,
boxers
and
and
steroids.
cage fighters tend to retire after 20 or 30 fights.
Yeah.
But these guys are doing that in 6 months.
Yeah. Some of these guys, like Hulk and that, went on to his 50s.
And there's no off-season.
No.
Hogan was going to his 60s easily.
Yeah. He's knackered now,
His famous finishing move was the leg drop.
Is it?
And I've heard him in an interview say he reckons he lost about 3 inches of height from doing that leg drop three times a week for most of his life.
He's lost a load of inches from all the back surgeries he's had.
That's from the leg drop.
Is it?
Because you're landing on your hip, 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah, he's that
you do that 4 or 5 times a week and tell me you're not going to get back problems.
I mean, it's great, isn't it, wrestling?
Oh, it's such a show.
It's good fun.
It's such a show.
I know some people, I can't get away with it because I know there is an element of fake to it. It doesn't mean I don't respect them as athletes and respect the showmanship and respect the whole, it's great, it's amazing. But it was never something that I would stay up to watch.
It's not wrestling per se, but there's matches where they sort of jump off a 20-foot balcony onto each other.
Yeah.
You can't fake that shit.
No.
You've got to learn to be a stuntman if you're going to be doing things like that.
And there's injuries too. You hear,
big time.
I've seen some
nasty injuries.
Like neck problems and, because, the tombstone.
And from simple things as well. There's the famous injury was Triple H tore the muscle of the front of his thigh. He was planting his foot to swing a punch, and he tore the muscle from the front of his thigh. It's the simple little things that end up injuring you.
Yeah, I bet. So, all right. So you've done this you've had these wrestling lessons that taught you how to fall safely and fake punch people, I guess. So I'm assuming after that I know you went on to a show.
I did a few shows.
How do you, you had a character?
Yeah.
I've seen the character. What was it called again?
Rex Ra.
Rex Ra. How did you come about how did that come? How did that cook up?
It wasn't anything like my first idea for what kind of character I wanted to be.
What was that?
Honestly, I can't remember anymore, but I wanted to be like a posh talking William Regal submission machine kind of thing.
All right, okay.
But apparently I come across as quite gay.
Do you? I don't think.
But one day in trade, I said something stupid. Oh, come on, darling, or something like that. That's perfect. Can you do the gay voice of the show? Yeah.
So
I had longer hair, so I wore pigtails.
Yes.
I came to the ring to village people with a feather boa and pink shutter shades. And
so you were a baddie or a goodie?
I was a baddie.
You were a baddie.
I was a baddie who would. I was trying to get people to love me. Because why wouldn't they love someone as good looking as me, as talented as me?
Exactly.
Why wouldn't they love me? So that was my character. He thought he was popular,
right?
But he was too arrogant to be popular,
right?
And he was too arrogant to see that's why he wasn't popular.
I've seen your ring walk. It's quite an arrogant ring walk.
Yeah, selfie stick.
Yeah. I've seen it. Yeah. So then you had how many amateur fights? Fights? Are they called fights or shows?
Matches.
Lots.
Loads. Yeah.
Did you sustain any injuries?
2 silly ones.
Right.
One was I missed a move called a Mahishral cradle.
Okay.
Which means your opponent's on the floor, you kind of do a forward roll over them. And as you're going over, you grab their legs in such a way that you roll them so their shoulders are on the mat for a pin.
Right.
I misjudged my ring position. Okay. So as I went over for the forward roll, I realised how close I was to the ropes. And I looked up at the ropes, landed square on my forehead. I got a massive gash from canvas burn.
So you got basically a carpet burn on your head.
Yeah.
Right. Nasty.
And then the other stupid, I was going for a pin. Literally just hooked the leg for the pin.
Right.
And I just tapped my elbow on the back of his leg.
Right.
And my entire arm went numb.
Do you know in a wrestling fight?
Yeah.
A match? Is it have you already decided who's going to win and how you're going to win? Is it all like
in the shows I did, yes.
So every move's been like
different people have different ways of doing it. I like to play off the crowd, and I'd run through sort of bullet points. So I would keep it as vague as, right, we'll do some chain wrestling, you come out on top. Then we'll do some back and forth, some strikes, some off the rope, some grapples, some slams. I come out on top. I'm going to shit talk the crowd a bit. I'm going to turn around, bang, kick me in the face, hit your finisher. That's how vague I like to keep it. But famously, to wrestling fans, it was Ricky Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania. The legend is they choreographed every single move for that match.
Really?
They knew what they were going to do to the letter. So different people have different styles on how to work these things.
You feel like if you're going to, because some of their matches go on like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, longer,
like,
yeah.
You feel like, it's a good big script to remember.
Yeah. I've seen WWE scripts and they are literally written move by move.
Really?
But you talk to wrestlers in other promotions. I wrestled a guy from Impact Wrestling. He was saying they're literally given free reign.
Right.
They're told, you two, go out for 15 minutes. You're going to win. And for the storyline, use a steel chair.
Right.
But the rest was theirs.
I get it.
So it's different wrestlers, different companies, even different countries do it different ways, which makes it interesting. So when you get into it, you get a real clash of styles, and it's interesting how different people work with different people.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, no, I've always respected them as athletes. I think they've, they do very well. Like it's taxing. Like you say, a lot of the stereotype is it's fake, it's nonsense, it's rubbish.
Yeah.
Okay, they've decided who's going to win, and yes, they're not punching each other's heads in, but for the most part, the rest of it's real. Yeah, still hurts.
There was I used to have an Instagram for Rex Raw, and I took a picture after a match. I used to wear braces,
right,
and I'd taken knife edge chops to my chest so hard, my chest was red.
What?
Except for a really definitive white line where the braces
Oofed.
have protected the vessels in my skin from bursting.
Right.
It was it's like you could put masking tape on and painted me. It was so clear. God. So it ain't fake.
No.
Not in the slightest.
No, there's too much blood for it to be fake,
Totally.
Well, I've loved the DJ and the wrestling section of your life. I mean, is there anything else that's entertaining as that? Or is that top it?
Not entertaining. No, wrestling's been day jobs. I was a forecourt attendant at Shell.
What, a petrol station?
So good at my job. I've got a gold medal from. I went to a national final for being the best person at my job.
Hang on. A petrol station attendant.
Yeah.
That must be the most boring award ceremony ever. Like, hang on a minute. You just stand behind the counter and press the button, right?
No, I was on the forecourt. You pull up in your car, and I'll be, can I put your petrol in, sir? Can I check your oil? Can I pump your tyres up?
That doesn't happen.
Not anymore. It did.
Did it?
Yeah.
I've never seen that in my life.
I was in that job for 5 years, and they made the post redundant about 6 months after I left.
Where was this?
I made that job. The Shell garage in Darlington.
Hang
I was
on.
at the hospital.
I've been driving for 21 years, and I've been using that petrol station for 21 years. I never remember anybody offering to put my petrol in.
But then they came to me and said, "You did good at your job, Rob. We want you to go to this the North East regional final for pumping petrol." So I won that, and they took all the regional winners down to Centre Parks in Bedford.
Right.
It's all on tick, Centre Parks in Bedford. We had a whole weekend there with the Shell credit card behind the bar.
Wow.
All the activities laid on, and at the end, they picked 10 of us to go to the big final, and I was in that 10. I got 2 nights at Celtic Manor,
Right.
where they have the Ryder Cup and American presidents have stayed there. 2 nights there in like a £200 a night room. Again, Shell's credit card behind the bar. And then the winner from that, which wasn't me, unfortunately, went to Japan for the international final.
No way.
And this is just for people that are pumping petrol on a forecourt.
How do you judge that? Is the people like stood with like scorecards like in gymnastics where they say 9,
It's
9?
the customer feedback from these how did we do cards that you hand out to customers and things like that, you know? And apparently I just had really good feedback.
Well, I didn't know I was sat with forecourt royalty.
Oh, yeah, I've got
Right.
proper gold medal on my mantelpiece from
You ever
this.
heard of that, Southpaw?
Never heard of it in my life, but Rob, I'd let you sort my petrol, mate.
Yeah, yeah.
First, I took the job, and I was the first one to do this job, so we literally made up the role as I was there.
Right.
And Shell said, we want these people in our garages. What do we do?
Did they do it nationwide?
A lot of Shell garages across the country, yeah.
Right.
But I was actually the first person in that role in Darlington. I was there for 5 years. And about 6 months after I left, they made the position redundant. So that was my job. I made that job and it didn't go on without me. So
I don't know how I've missed that. Like, that's my pet. That is
it's
my
literally
local.
like 50 yards down the road from where you live.
Yeah, I've always used that petrol station.
That's
But I
crazy.
never remember anybody putting my petrol in. Ever. Never in Darlington. I've seen it abroad. You know, I've been abroad and stuff. And yeah. Like, they do it in Greece, stuff like that. They put the petrol in for you. But I've never seen it in Darlow. Never.
What, and how do you get paid? Is it paid in tips or is it like a...
Oh, it was minimum wage.
Right, okay. But you might get tips off people for doing this? Or?
Very rarely.
Right.
Very, very rare. It's not a job of people. If you're a waiter, people expect you to take a tip.
And was it a case of, I want 30 quid put in?
Yeah.
And you just put that
I
in?
think part of the idea was, right, rather than you standing at the pump and putting your petrol in, you're in the shop browsing.
Right.
You're buying the chocky bar, making the Costa. So
Yeah.
I think that was the idea behind it, was to get more retail sales from customers mingling around the shop.
So customers still went in to pay for the petrol.
Yeah.
You just filled the
I
car.
wasn't allowed to take payments off them.
Right, I get it.
So whilst I'm putting you 50 quid in, you're waiting in the shop. Might as well buy a
that
chocky
makes
bar while
sense.
somewhere. Yeah.
I mean, I actually like the idea, to be fair. I think it's traditional, isn't it? It reminds you like the old days.
Customer service is shit nowadays, especially since COVID.
What, just in Shell or genuine?
Everywhere.
You think?
You go to a hotel now and they say, because of COVID, we're not going to change your sheets every day.
Did they say that?
I've had that in a few hotels, yeah.
What? You'd be fuming.
Customer service nowadays is awful.
I mean, customer service. Like, I don't think I can tell the difference between good and bad customer service. I don't think I go anywhere that requires it.
No?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm only, I'm still stuck on petrol station people. But for the most part, petrol station people who work behind the checkout, they don't seem like. I think it takes a certain type of person to work in a petrol station because I think you've got to be not a people person. If you sit behind the counter at a petrol station, do you know what I mean?
It gets monotonous because in a supermarket, sometimes in a big shop, you got time for a chat as well. Even if you buy the £100 worth of stuff in the petrol station, pump turn, there you go, bye. There's no time to talk to anyone, is there?
In your entire life, what was your favourite job you ever had?
Probably the one I'm doing now.
Is it?
I live in a lorry 5 days a week.
What is it about that job that you like? What makes it the best job you've ever
I'm
had?
left alone to do my job.
Is that what it is? You just
I
left
haven't
alone?
got a manager constantly looking over my shoulder, make sure I'm doing it right. It'll be pick this load up from here, deliver it to here for 12 o'clock. Phone us when you're done.
Just like that.
And if there's any problems, if there's a breakdown or there's bad traffic, then you phone the office and tell them. But they generally just trust you to do your job and leave you alone.
How heavy is the wagon lorry that you're driving?
Up to 40 ton.
So it's a proper full-on
40
18-wheeler
foot.
thing.
40 foot Arctic, yeah.
Right. You ever feel scared driving that?
Only at low bridges.
Yeah, imaginably, yeah.
Do you know what it is? So my trailer is 4.2 metres high.
Right.
And if I had one a few weeks ago, there's a bridge that says 4.3 metres high. And you think, I've got no reason to distrust the height on the bridge and the height on my trailer. But what if? What if someone's just rounded it the wrong way?
Yeah. I just think, you're hurtling down a motorway at like 50, 60 miles an hour. Like, you are in control of something that can cause absolute chaos.
Yeah, totally.
Like, I'm talking, mass death.
And that's what I said earlier. The first hint of a yawn, I'm opening the can of Monster.
Simple.
I'm not pissing about. Yeah.
No. Yeah, that would get me because tiredness, the old thing, tiredness kills.
My work this week, my latest start was 4:30 a.m.
Oh, dear.
3 days this week. So you have to do a 45-minute break every 4.5 hours of driving, but you can split that into a 15 and a 30.
Right.
3 days this week, I've gone to a lay-by for 20 minutes and just gone into bed.
Really?
Just a quick power nap, you know, because it's not worth the risk.
You do overnighters, right? Like overnight drives?
No. Generally it's start in the morning, finish at night.
Right.
Sometimes you'll get a week of night shifts. So I did one a few months ago. It was a factory move the mile up the road.
So why do you need a bed in the back of your wagon if you're just working days?
I stay in it 4 nights a week.
Oh.
So I can drive down to the south coast,
Right.
but you can only allowed to drive 10 hours a day. So there's no time to get back. So I plan to be out 4 nights a week.
Right. So are you scheduled to, like, if you could drive down to the south coast, do you have to collect something else down there, or do you just drive back again?
Generally speaking, the office will have a load for me to bring back up. Yeah.
Who is it you work for, if you don't mind me asking?
Caterham,
Caterham.
which is the owner has 2 daughters, Kate and Emily. So Caterham.
What do they do? What do they sell? What do they distribute?
Everything.
Really?
I don't know if I should be saying the names of anybody, but we have major contracts for a lot of different companies.
Right. I've seen these wagons
I wouldn't
before.
say it on camera because I don't want to break any kind of security or confidentiality.
Of course,
but
no,
yeah,
no,
we've
no.
got big regular contracts up and down the country.
Right.
So we call that one the Pink Lady.
Yeah.
So no, one of my favourite drives is we have a regular place at Inverness, which is the north of the Scottish Highlands.
I know Inverness. You go up there.
It'll take like a whole day to drive through the Highlands. Oh, it's
Bet that's a nice drive, is it?
fantastic, yeah.
Lots of...
And then by the time you got up there, there's a truck stop kind of halfway down. You would generally stop there because that's when your driving hours have run out. But
right.
I love doing that trip, yeah.
I bet it's glorious, is it?
Oh,
On the open road. You play music and stuff
you're
when you
high up
drive?
as well, aren't you?
course,
so you get
yeah.
to see some cracking scenery.
So
I listen to podcasts all day.
Just podcast
Yeah.
all day. What's your diet like on the road? Bad?
Not as good as I want it to be.
No, what you're eating, just what you can get.
Do you know what? I'm very... I'm a bit on the spectrum with my diet anyway. So I'll go to the supermarket. I'll buy four of those pots of granola that like in the like a yogurt pot when you do the portions. I'll buy 5 pot noodles.
Right.
And I'll buy 4 microwave meals.
Right. You have a microwave in the truck?
Oh yeah, microwave, fridge freezer, single
it.
bed.
So it's a house?
Yeah,
It's a
there's
studio.
like
It's a studio apartment.
8 fag lighter sockets, so you can charge 1 million gadgets at a time. It must have been hard in the old days,
Without any
but
of that.
nowadays I've got my smartphone, I've got my tablet, I've got my Nintendo Switch. I've got
So you're playing Nintendo Switch in the back of the van?
Yeah.
The back of the truck
Yeah.
on a night?
yeah,
On your tablet?
yeah.
What?
Netflix on the tablet, get my Switch out. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have curtains and stuff to shut
Oh
your
yeah,
curtains?
there's curtains that go around the windscreen.
And is it warm while you sleep?
Yeah.
So there's a heater that stays on all night?
There's a night. I don't know what fuels it. I haven't got a clue how it works. But there's a thing called a night heater, which doesn't need the engine to be on.
Right.
So you can leave it on all night if you want.
So it's snuggly buggly.
Oh, lovely. Yeah.
Is it?
This week, it's been like -4 degrees and I've been starting work. And as soon as I lift that duvet, I thought, nah, fuck that.
It's mad, imagine. You ever, like, in these truck stops and stuff, have you ever had anything weird? Anyone trying your door handles or
I've had my curtain slashed a few times.
your curtain? Oh,
And
the side of the wagon.
I've had diesel stolen as well.
So somebody's filtered it out.
Yeah, we don't even lock the tanks. Most lorry drivers won't lock the tank because if someone's come with the big drum to get your diesel and they can't open the lid, they'll just stab the side of the tank.
Makes sense.
So most drivers don't even lock the diesel tank. And the reason why they leave your doors open at night if you're empty
Right.
is they'll just come with a knife and just slice the curtains.
Right, to get in.
And then you've got the issues of is it legal to drive? Is it safe to drive?
Yeah.
And the price, cost of repairs and stuff like that.
I always thought the wagons with the doors open were to show that there was no, like, asylum seekers in it. I thought that's what
And
that was
that,
for.
I mean, I'll leave it open to show there's nothing worth nicking. Don't slash my curtains. And I always just check around the door in the morning before I close it, make sure there's no fox sleeping in the corner or something like that. But yeah, generally to show there's nothing of value worth taking.
I mean, I can see, I can see the nice bit of like lorry driving. I guess, yeah, like there's no one shouting down your neck. You're in your own space. You're listening to what you want to listen to. Lots of time of thinking. Lots of scenery. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
There's no. The biggest downside is there's no time after work to do anything.
No.
So by law, you only get a 9-hour break at the end of your day. But one of those one night has to be 11 hours. Then by law, it's only a 9-hour break. It's no time to do anything at night. You park up, you go on break, you have a shower, you have your dinner, You've got 8 hours left.
That's
You
it.
need to get some sleep before you start driving again in the morning.
Yeah.
So there's no time for sort of hobbies or socialising or going out exploring the local area.
No. Well, it's fair to say you've had a pretty interesting life.
I've done a bit.
Some of the stuff I didn't know that
I feel like we've only scratched the surface on everything as well.
there's lots more. Well, I hope this is going to be one of many, the two of many more visits.
Yeah, I'd love to come back. It's always good fun doing this. Yeah,
I mean, next time we speak, I'm going to go into some. So anybody listening, tune in for the next Rob episode because I want to go. I want you. No, that's the wrong place to use the phrase balls deep. I was going to use balls deep on Epstein. But that's probably not a good idea.
We've just looked at pink cock cannons,
Yeah.
foam. Yeah,
But yeah, there's a lot of things I want to touch. Shall we say worldly events?
Yeah.
Wars.
it's
Epstein.
It's an American election year. Who knows what's going to happen this year?
There's loads of things, and I know you're the type of brain that's somebody. I want to hear your opinion on these things.
Yeah.
But do you know what, mate? Out of all of this, I like that you've just when I asked you that sort of last question there, what's your most favourite job you've ever done? You're doing it.
Yeah.
You were at the, that's a pretty wonderful thing. The best time of your life you're having.
Do you know, there might be small steps if you keep stepping forward.
Yeah.
It all works out in the end.
Yeah. It's inspiring. That.
Thank you.
I like that. Yeah. Well, can anybody, because I want to push this narrative before we go. I want to push that you're eventually going to do these nights again.
Yeah.
So, let's say somebody wants to usher you along, wants to reach out. How do people find you?
I don't really do social media anymore.
You got no social media?
I have a TikTok that at the minute I'm keeping anonymous.
Right.
So I'm putting loads of videos out, but nothing of my face or my name or anything like that.
Okay.
I've decided when that hits 1,000 followers, I think that's when you're allowed to live stream on TikTok.
Right.
Maybe then I'll show my face then. But at the minute, I don't really have a social media presence.
Right. Well, in that case, we can't direct anybody
No.
to you. No. Well, if it does happen and you do change your mind and you do think you're going to kick off these moshing nights again, I for one would go, and I think it's a great idea.
I'm always open to an opportunity.
Yeah. Well, if anybody wants to contact Rob with any bright ideas, they can
Email the show.
Email Southport on what email address, Southport?
Southport@officialpeoplelikeus.com.
I didn't hear that, mate. Say that again.
Southport@officialpeoplelikeus.com.
Southport@officialpeoplelikeus.com.
That sounds good. That official. I like that.
Yeah.
It's good, isn't it? That's all we could get, right?
Give us an email. Let's get this burlesque night going.
Yeah, let's get the burlesque. Hey, look, that's
Let's get
that's
it going.
better than the mosh pitting. Yeah.
Will you perform?
I will. Yeah, I will. Yeah, I will. Won't we, Southport?
We'll do a full Monty type show at the end.
I don't have the anatomy for a full Monty night. No.
I'll leave that
No,
one
do
to
you
you,
remember in the
Daniel.
film they've all got the backs to the camera, haven't they? Something like that.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Look, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Look, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been People Like Us again. Just before we go, just want to say, anybody that watches, hi, Mum, hi, Dad, we do appreciate everyone that watches. We love what we do. This is just the start in it, Southpaw.
Absolutely. Just the beginning.
We're not going anywhere.
I think you're shadow banned because I've had issues finding on YouTube search.
Yeah, you met.
So
yeah,
I think anybody who likes the show needs to be liking it and sharing the links on their Facebook, their Twitter, their social media. Because from what I can see on my end, when I'm searching on YouTube, I think you're shadow banned on YouTube already.
Potentially. We're looking into this.
You're going to fix that on yourself, though.
Absolutely, mate.
But yeah, anybody that watches it, please comment. What you do, comment, share.
Comment, share, like, subscribe, do all the good stuff.
Paste the link everywhere.
Yeah, paste it everywhere. We love doing this. We want to make it our full-time job, right?
One day.
Listen, everyone, thank you for watching. It's been People Like Us. It's been Southport Dan. It's been the Rob Coates.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.